Hello. As another big freeze arrives, councils admit they've been concerned about the stocks of grit.
In Suffolk, the council has already used 12,000 tonnes of salt, which is close to the amount it would expect to use over an entire winter. No one is running out of grit yet, but councils have already raided the national stockpile for extra supplies. So as the freeze bites, what is the situation on our roads tonight? Our chief reporter, Kim Riley, is at the Highways Agency Control Centre. Kim.
Yes, I'm at South Mims, right where the A1M meets the M25. On the big screen behind me is how the Highways Agency keeps an eye on the key roads in our region. We'll take a look at them in a moment. When I came down here, we certainly drove through an awful lot of snow and sleet. As far as gritting's concerned, it's absolutely vital, of course, to keeping the roads safe. And Anna Todd has been out today with the gritting teams in Bedfordshire.
In the gloomy drizzle of this gritting depot at Sandy in Bedfordshire, man and machine were preparing for a busy night. 16 gritters will cover hundreds of miles of road with salt. But over in Suffolk, stocks have been running low, but now they're geared up for a long winter.
Over the next couple of weeks, we've got about 5,000 tonnes of salt coming into the county, and that gives us much more comfort than maybe we had a couple of days ago.
This blood donor session in Cambridge was busy today, but last month's snow meant fewer donors and fewer opportunities to donate.
Across the Anglia region, we kept on about 70% of the sessions. Across Cambridgeshire, we weren't so badly affected. Obviously, down towards Essex, we were more so. And we lost about 1,000 donations because we weren't able to put those sessions on. So, yes, the weather could have a real impact.
And November's icy snap also saw a massive increase in people turning up at A&E.
We saw a real surge in elderly people who were going out to get provisions and they slip and fall on the ice and they break their hips. So it was a lot of injuries.
The message from the medics is look out for your elderly neighbours, wear sensible shoes and really just be careful. Anna Todd, BBC Look East.
Let's take a look actually at the big screens and see some of the sights from the region. The first one we can pick up there is the M11 at Birchhanger Green, close to Stansted. Actually, all looking to be flowing pretty smoothly there and not a lot of snow coming down. If you come to the right, that's M1 Junction 10 near Luton, and a bit more snow coming down there, but again, traffic looking pretty good, so no great problems there. Let's talk to John Culshaw here. He's John Caldwell. He's the operations manager, regional operations manager with the Highways Agency. How worried are you about this business of ice tonight?
Yeah, very concerned about it. We've got all the winter service teams ready to go. As soon as this band of snow moves out of the region, the temperature's going to drop. We're going to need to get out there and put some grit on the road, get the rock salt down, get the traffic flowing over it and try and make sure that we treat the roads so that the ice doesn't form.
And the advice to drivers going out on those roads tonight and tomorrow?
Yeah, we need people to plan their journeys, make sure that the car and the vehicles are all prepared, they're prepared, plan their journeys, keep their distance from the vehicles in front, make sure that they drive to the correct speeds, keep the speeds down, avoid having crashes so that we can get out there with our winter maintenance teams, get the grit on the road. Saturday is going to be difficult, it's going to be snow, people need to really seriously think about whether they need to go out on Saturday at all, but we do understand it's a shopping day, so please be very, very careful.
And gritting's absolutely key. Now, are you pretty confident the gritting's going ahead and it's going to work?
Yeah, we've got all the vehicles all ready to go. They're all loaded up, plenty of salt in the barns, ready to reload. So we'll work through the night tonight as the temperatures drop. We'll then redo the same again on Saturday. We'll be monitoring the conditions and getting the salt out. We want the vehicles to drive over it, so if people see our vehicles on the network, please let them through because they need to get there and get the salt on the ground.
In historical terms, how bad are conditions right now?
Yeah, this is difficult. We've been here 5 years as a highways agency, and this is some of the very difficult conditions we've had. So, we do need people to help us to be able to keep the roads flowing.
John Caldwell, thank you very much indeed. Well, the very best advice we can give is to tune in to your local BBC radio station because they will have the very, very latest up-to-date travel information for you. This is Kim Riley at South Mims. Back to you.
Kim, thank you very much.
So what's happening with the weather? Here's Alex.
Hello. Well, we've got high pressure over the North Atlantic, low pressure over Scandinavia. In between, we've got this northerly feed of air. If you trace those isobars back, the source of that air is right up near the Arctic, so very cold indeed. It's this weather system that's introduced that cold air during the course of the day. Ahead of it, temperatures less cold, 6 or 7 degrees Celsius this morning. Behind it, much colder air, and that's why temperatures have plummeted. I'll be back with a full weather forecast for you later. Stuart.
Very much indeed.
Within the last hour, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been freed on bail. He's heading to Norfolk to stay at Ellingham Hall, the home of the journalist and businessman Vaughan Smith. Mr Assange is fighting extradition to Sweden, where he's accused of rape. Alex Dunlop is outside the hall now. Alex.
Well, Susie, as Mr Assange's lawyer pointed out, this is not so much house arrest as mansion arrest. On a couple of years ago, I visited Vaughan Smith here, actually, at Ellingham Hall on another story. And yes, it is grand. It's certainly not palatial. I'd say it's fair to say this is very much a family home for Vaughan Smith, his wife and his children. So inside there'll be, I think, a semblance of normality. Outside here, frankly, anything but. I've just counted about 7 or 8 satellite trucks. We've got TV crews from around the world, America, Japan, and I think it's fair to say that Ellingham, which just is one small road, a couple of dozen houses, will never have seen anything quite like this before. For the next few weeks, this Georgian pile set in 600 acres will be home for Julian Assange, a world away from his arrival today at the High Court in a prison van. Facing sex allegations against 2 women in Sweden, the WikiLeaks founder was finally granted bail. Next stop, Ellingham Hall.
He is going to be released in the very foreseeable future. He will not be going back to that Victorian prison. He will not be going back to that cell once occupied by Oscar Wilde. Thank you all very much.
Today, Japanese TV made an appearance. Tomorrow, expect dozens more of the world's press in this quiet corner of Norfolk. Just a mile away in Bungay, few we met recognised the man who'll soon be their famous neighbour.
He's either a weather reporter or a news reporter.
Wikipedia. Wicca, well, it is, yeah.
Yes, I've seen him on the TV.
Do you know who he is?
Can't remember his name.
Do you know why he's so famous?
Because of the WikiLeaks thing.
The British soldiers I met didn't feel...
I last interviewed Vaughan Smith in his home at Ellingham Hall 3 years ago. The ex-army captain, now a journalist, has a strong belief in press freedom. He set up the Frontline Club in London, a club where his friend Julian Assange has spoken at a number of events. Local retailer Julie Pickering isn't surprised that Vaughan Smith and his family have given Mr Assange refuge.
Vaughan has been in the shop. We've known his parents for quite a number of years. They're extremely nice people. If Vaughan feels that this is the place for him to come to and to give him that peace, then good for Vaughan.
Julian Assange will next appear in court on January the 12th, but from the seclusion of Ellingham Hall, his fight against extradition could last for months. So what happens next? Well, Mr Assange, who we understand may well be on his way up to Ellingham as I speak, will have to wear an electronic tag. He'll have to abide by a curfew and go to a police station every day to check in. Now, there's some legal confusion in court today over that because Beccles Police Station is only open for a certain amount of time during the day. So there was a suggestion that police officers on certain days would have to pop into Ellingham Hall to make sure that he didn't abscond. Tomorrow morning, there'll be a huge international media circus here, hoping and expecting that he and Vaughan Smith will come to the gates and have something to say. Back to you.
Alex, thank you very much.